FPL Gameweek 36 transfer tips, and today we have got a lot to get into for you guys. We will be covering each and every single position's top 3 picks for Gameweek 36, as well as who are the best AM managers for Gameweek 36 to Gameweek 38. So, without further ado, let's get into it. All right, guys. Now let us get straight into it. I want to kick off with just a bit of news on the actual fixtures. It is confirmed that the Tottenham Hotspur and the Aston Villa fixture will be only moved to the Friday in game week 37. So it's just slightly earlier than what it was. So no major changes. There will basically be no doubles. That's just an important one because a lot of us were sort of waiting on the news of whether or not that would necessarily be a double in game week 36. So just confirming that it is not. Love to start with the strikers for us all. So starting off with the strikers, for me, game week 36 top 3 strikers to come in for your teams. Number 1, definitely Wisa. He is in form, as you can see on the form table there. He's a very good striker to be bringing in, considering he's been returning in almost every single game he's played in the past 5 games. Number 2, because of fixtures, Wood is definitely up there. Leicester having one of the worst defenses, especially at home as well. They are definitely a sweet spot to be targeting, and both Wisa and Wood will be playing against that bottom 3 team as well. Then for me, another pick would actually be Cunha, who also himself, as you see, is playing against Brighton, and we all know Brighton themselves can be a bit exposed. So I think if you don't have him, he's also another player with some good fixtures for the upcoming weeks, and will be my number 3. I think an honorable mention, really just to talk about him, is Erling Haaland, who is back. But given the fact that he's been out for a while, I don't think that he'll be coming straight back into the actual starting lineup. But it is something that we have to keep our ears out for, so keep a lookout for that. Looking at the predicted points, because of him being back on the bench, he is at the top with Isak number 2, Cunha number 3, Watkins at number 4, even with the confirmation that there is no doubles in game 36, and Wisa at the bottom. I think you can see there straight away that Cunha and Wisa are good shout-outs there for this game week. Just not sure about Isak myself, and I'm not even talking about bringing him in, but I'm just talking more so about the fact that he is one of the strikers that are being transferred out. I think I totally understand it if you're bringing in Wisa and Wood. Totally makes sense. As you can see, Mateta's not here as well. I think he's another striker which people might be thinking of taking out, considering their fixtures start to turn after this Tottenham Hotspur fixture as well. But definitely those top 2, Cunha and Wood, are definitely one of the best strikers to bring in for game week 36. So let us move on to the midfield, which is another one that a lot of us are going to be talking about for game week 36. Our top 3 midfield picks to come in this game week. If you don't already have him, you should. That is Brian Mbeumo. Yes, he did blank, but he's got a very favorable fixture against Ipswich this game week, and he's definitely growing in terms of his ownership as well. And number 2, whose ownership is still a little bit lower, is Kevin De Bruyne. Yes, you might find him lower down there at the form table, but he's playing Southampton, another favorable fixture as well. Did very well in terms of captaincy last weekend, so he is a player which, if you're looking to be a bit of a differential and you have that actual money, then I would bring Kevin De Bruyne in. And number 3, another differential for you guys who's been returning for the past 3 weeks in a row as well, is Jared Bowen. Definitely at the stage of this season, we should be considering a lot of differentials as well. So for me, if you're looking to maintain that rank, Mbeumo's definitely the one, but then the next 2 being De Bruyne and also Jared Bowen. Good differentials if you're looking to gain on your actual mini league as well. Looking at the predicted points for this game week, of course, Mo Salah's at the top followed by De Bruyne as well, who is very much in a gap there in terms of 1.6 points behind. Then in Mbeumo, Cole Palmer returning as well in the last 9 minutes of the game with that penalty. Begs the question as to whether or not is he really back or not, but he's got a tough fixture against Newcastle, although they're both fighting for those top 5 spots, so I think it's going to be a very cagey game. I think definitely you can keep him. If I had Cole Palmer, would I sell him? Nah, not this game. Not after he's just scored. There's a huge possibility he could really just decide to, come back, and you could see how much the team was so happy for him scoring as well. So yeah, Man United there, surprisingly, Garnacho is there above somebody like Bowen, even though they're playing each other as well. He did return in the previous game as well, so it is assumed that Man United will be better. I think West Ham have the upper hand here, as much despite Man United being at home. I just feel like their priorities being in the Europa League is what's been their downfall really in the league there as well. So those for me are my top midfielders and the differentials as well to be bringing in. I think we do have to mention other players like assets from Nottingham Forest. Would I consider an Elanga as well as a huge differential? Absolutely. I feel like he plays very high up in terms of his positioning there. So I think if you're looking for a cheap punt as well, I do second Elanga. I think he's really good. A really good punt there as well. Morgan Gibbs White more so for the minutes, as Elanga does get pulled off a lot sooner than he does as well. The only issue I have really with Nottingham Forest, they just necessarily haven't really been in the motion that we know them to have been in earlier this season. So it really becomes a punt when you go for those other assets. So yeah, just take it with a bit of salt if it doesn't really work out. But that's what punts are there for. Now let's move on to the defense. But before we move on to the defense, guys, really would appreciate it if you could hit that subscribe button. That is all I'm going to ask for you guys. Honestly, really helps the channel go a long way, and it's growing very well. Thank you so much to everybody who have helped me, who have subscribed. Honestly, really appreciate you guys. I do this really for you guys and also for the love. So thank you so much. Yeah, let's get into it now. In the defense, right? Now for me, Game Week 36, for me, my Game Week 36 top 3 defenders, I think I will definitely start off with Milenkovic. And I say this because he has to have the good favorable fixture against Leicester, but also Leicester are definitely known for conceding from hitting headers as well, should I say, set pieces. Milenkovic then becomes really a really good asset there in terms of being able to get you something. He is a bit pricey now, not necessarily at the top of form, considering that Nottingham Forest haven't really been at top of form, but I think he's a really good asset if you're looking for a defender there who's going to be playing against Leicester. Number 2, if you don't have him already, I think you should, is Aid Nori at the top there of the form table. He's just basically a left back number 10. He's just getting in those high positions, somewhat the left back version of Munoz as well. So I think he's definitely a player to have to bring in there. And then number 3, I think it goes without saying, of course, Guardiola, because he is playing against Southampton. But I think if you are looking for another defender, then you can definitely bring in another City defender like a Ruben Diaz, or you can also look at another Leicester defense as well. I wouldn't necessarily go with the Brentford defense because they just themselves as well are falling, and I believe Ipswich will definitely score. So I would stick rather to the Man City and the Nottingham Forest defense there for Game Week 36. Looking at the predictions, Game Week 36 points prediction, you do have Guardiola at the top with Milenkovic and then Trent there. For those of you who do have Trent who are worried about his minutes, from my personal opinion, being it it's a home game, I think he will definitely play. I don't think you have to worry about it. yeah, I think he definitely play. I do like Trent really as a pick, and I did mention this last week because unfortunately he was taken off just before the 60th minute mark. But then at the same time, that is also the advantage that you could have, that you could grab that clean sheet when you could be taken after the 60th minute mark. So the game against Arsenal isn't all the more so favorable, but it is Trent, and we all know what it's like. The only issue is just Liverpool, having clinched the title, don't necessarily look like they are in full gear to necessarily be grabbing those personal records that that Mo Salah's going for, and even the team as well. So it does make it a bit tricky for them, in all honesty. But yeah, I would definitely stay there. I think this game week, Palace, a lot of us have Munoz as well. He's definitely a good player to be playing this game week, considering that he has a fixture against Tottenham. Some of us also have Newcastle defenders as well, like a Trippier or a Livramento. And I say this because you might be deciding whether or not to play them versus the Palace defenders. I would rather play the Palace defenders because it's Tottenham. So yeah, as much as Shaw is necessarily up there as well, who has been on fire as well, I like to follow form. But at the same time, I feel like Munoz is a lot more attacking if you have Shaw versus Munoz there, despite the fact that Newcastle is at home. I would still play Munoz rather there. He could have walked away with an actual return, having a shot at goal. It was so close. It was so close, honestly. But yeah, that's my picks when it comes to the defense. Now let us go through to the goalkeepers, because there are some of you who are considering changing with the goalkeepers as well. So my top 3 goalkeepers for game week 36. Number 1 is of course Sells, definitely playing against Leicester. Number 2 is Edison. In terms of Edison, I believe he will definitely play. I think people are concerned about his minutes and so on and so on. No, that was really more so around him when he was injured, but now we all know he's fully fit. They are gunning for that top 5 position, so he is definitely the best player to play right now. And then number 3, for me, is really tricky. Number 3, for this game week, that is tough, because a lot of us actually have Iriola thing against Man United. And number 3, I would put Fleck. As much as I do believe they will concede, I think if you really don't have a lot of money and you want to take a punt, I'd go for Fleck, and I think he'll definitely get some saves in. That's number 1, 100% definitely get some saves. So if you are looking for potential clean sheets and some save points, then Flecken is your man. As much as when we look at the predicted points here, we see them at the top there, on top of Sells and Edison as well, which I don't really agree with, but hey, it is what it is. Then we got Leno there, as well as Raya below him at the bottom there. And those are the goalkeepers as well. So let's move on to the all-important one, which a lot of you guys have been waiting for as well, which is the assistant managers. So for game week 36, the best assistant manager for me, if you are going to go for an assistant manager who you do not want to swap out, you just want to carry him from game week 36 to game week 38, I think Pep Guardiola is the man there. I understand maybe you guys would prefer him, you prefer the 3 Man City players, because you have to have 3 assets, including your actual manager. I would have 2 attacking assets and Guardiola if I were you guys, because I feel like the fixtures are just agreeable. If you're looking to change and move around, I think you can start on like a Guardiola and go then to a Harry Potter and go on to a Potter for the game week 37, where he will have a bonus fixture. And then if you want to, of course, move it back to another favorable manager, and that's really if you want to move around. But if you don't want to sell any of your Man City assets, you just want to keep them as well, then I think Potter is another cheaper and better option. Considering he's playing Man United, I think they can walk away with something there. That's just me. I remember the upset that he did against Arsenal as well, winning those bonus points unbelievably, and that was at Arsenal's home ground as well. So don't forget that. Then he's got that bonus fixture game week 37, and then after that he's also playing that last game in game week 38 as well. So for me, I think Potter's a punt, one that you can go for, and I say this in the sense of there will be some of you who are looking to actually also gain as well. So think of it, Guardiola safe, Potter more risky if you're trying to gain as well. So that is my AM picks for game week 38 to game week 36. Now, I know you're thinking, captaincy, what's poppin'? Well, guys, don't even worry, I got you. I actually decided to do a whole video on captaincy because it is a real dilemma. So catch me in that next video right down there if you want to find out who is the best captain for game week 36. I got you guys. Trust me, you're gonna love this one. So I'll check you out in that next video, and thank you so much for the love. Don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.